Stop the share.
Yes.
Boom. I was a little over. We had some promotions. I got a little long-winded on some things, and I apologize for that. But I think we're still pretty good with time. So
I think so. I think we left them with at least 25 minutes. So let's do it.
Yep. And you can take that an extra 5 if you need to, Miranda. Before we go to you, though, I think we do have one video to play as a transitional video. So veil, mute, action. One of the things we're most proud of is our company offers a true ownership contract.
It was important for us to have an ownership agreement with our people that come into our company and actually build a business, because you want to protect what you build.
There are a lot of things that the agency ownership contract allows you to do. You can pass it on to heirs. You know, obviously, if you get sick or if you pass away, then it will live on through your family.
Not just me, but every single agent that they come on board, that they have the opportunity to become an agency owner. It's an opportunity that you don't get anywhere.
Just the idea that I could work for something that became a family legacy, something that we owned as a family together, is amazing.
My hard work is not going to be taken away from me. True ownership.
You know, the agency owner, a part of Symmetry, really is what sets Symmetry apart from everybody else.
If I became disabled, that income would still come in. If I passed away, that income would still be there.
One of Symmetry's core values is we act like owners because we own it. That's not only in the agency owner contract, but it's also in the equity appreciation rights.
In 2020, we reserved 20% of our company, our future growth in our company, in the form of equity appreciation rights.
At the end of the day, you know, I sort of want to be part of a company that's, you know, $1 billion or $2 billion, a $4 billion company that granted 20% of its equity. This usually doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen on this scale.
And that kind of generosity is pretty mind-blowing.
We're not just talking about 5 digits, 6 digits, 7 digits. It might be in the 8-digit numbers that you'll be able to accumulate down the road for you and your family.
It makes me feel like a part of this company in a way that we never felt before.
How many companies do you know that allow you to be a part of that, to be a piece of that? And because of you doing what you're already supposed to be doing, you're granted a portion of it just for saying thank you.
They didn't have to do that. Like, what company, does that? And they did, and they included us, and we get to benefit from it, and it's amazing feeling.
It's just really cool to be involved in a business that takes care of not only their salespeople, but their support staff as well, because they are equally important to what we're doing here.
To know that I could share in the company, that gave me such a deeper level of ownership.
Shows really clearly where their priorities are at. It's not because they had to, it's not because they were asked to, it's because they truly wanted to. It's because of the heart of the founders of this company.
I'm struggling to really put into words how just thankful that I am that they were willing to allow us to share in that with them.
Wherever we're going, we think it's extremely important that the people that helped us get there, that put all the hard work into helping us achieve our goals as a company, we want to reward those people, as we should.
No agent's success, earnings, or production results should be viewed as typical, average, or expected. Not all agents achieve the same or similar results, and no particular results are guaranteed. Your level of success will be determined by several factors, including the amount of work you put in, your ability to successfully follow and implement our training and sales system, and engage with our lead system, and the insurance needs of the customers in the geographic areas in which you choose to work.
One of the things we're most proud of is our company. Love that. I like the, we're going to need to have some fun with those disclaimers too.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
There is no shortage of material we can work with on that.
Oh man, I had some good ideas popping.
If you have allergies, take this medication, but beware, you might grow a seventh toe.
Exactly. I love it.
It is true though. Results may vary.
That's right.
Those that work harder and are not as rude will probably do better.
In all seriousness too, Brandon, Casey, it's an important message. I know we can get it tightened up a little bit, but it's an important message out there, guys, that we stay compliant out there on all social media platforms. Brandon and Casey's talked about that. So doing better on our part.
Yes, sir. All right, Miranda.
Hey.
There you are. You're changing screens.
Team Awesome.
Team Awesome. It is time to be awesome. For the next 30 minutes, Miranda, you are going to teach everyone here how to be awesomer.
Okay.
More awesome, I think, is probably the word we're looking for. But I don't want to take any of your time other than to say, you know how much we love you know how much we appreciate and respect you, and how much you have given to this organization over the past 6 years. How long has it been?
I think it's almost 7 in the summer, but I'll go 6.5 right now.
Almost 7 years. And best-selling author. For those of you that haven't had a chance to meet Miranda yet, there's going to be plenty of reason and plenty of things to take notes on as we speak. So, Miranda, I'm going to shut up and turn it over to you, and I look forward to hearing what you guys are going to talk about.
All right. Well, Miranda Martin, I am direct to Ryan Miller and Symmetry Financial Group. Guys, I am just honored to do this call with Jasmine. This is actually her first time being featured on a national call. It's really awesome. She was the #1 producer in my master agency last year. And we have a lot in common, her and I. We actually both came to Symmetry without any insurance experience. We both were not salespeople. I think it would be safe to say that we were both scared to death to sell. Okay, we prefer to be like we're both introverted, I believe. And we prefer to be like behind the telephone, okay? We're both single moms. My kids are a lot younger than her. She has 2 teenagers. I have a 9 and an 11-year-old. But when I started at this business, they were 3 and 5. And I had just become a single parent. But in my situation, their dad had them half the time. Jasmine got to launch this business where she has them all the time. Okay. I was absolutely horrendous when I started this business. Like, I could not close the door behind me. You know, I booked 10 appointments. No one was home. And then I got in front of like all these people. I couldn't close a single one because they all wanted to think about it. And Jasmine, you came over here too. And like, it took you about 6 months, I think, to figure this thing out, right? Yeah. And it's like, what was crazy is her and we actually worked together before here. Okay. We used to run a call center together. I worked there for a long time. Jasmine was there for about 3 years, and we used to train people on appointment setting. So when we got over here, we just thought we were going to tear the roof off this thing, and we learned that it's not, we had some learning to do, right? But after she figured things out, went up, and she's averages anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 a month in production now. So I couldn't be more excited for you, girl. We've got some nuggets that we're going to drop down with you guys, because as we were planning this call, Jasmine and I really got to reminisce when we were listening to the call last week, State of the Union. We got so excited about all these new lead sources that we're going to be able to call, right? Some of you guys might be nervous, right? Some of you might be nervous, but here's the cool part. This is what her and I did like forever. Jasmine, remember back in the day, you'd walk in the door, and what would happen? Like almost every single day, you'd walk in the call center, and what would happen? You never knew where the lead was coming from, what kind of promotion you were doing, what kind of commercial was running, what kind of event was running. Oh yeah, we are doing a boat show now next week. Oh, we're having at the hockey game a little booth, so the lead source is always changed. And us as phone professionals, we had to be flexible with the different lead sources that we had. And, right off the spot, be able to call these people and help them with the products that we offered. I know. And so it was just part of it, right? Guys, growth happens outside our comfort zone. So really the purpose of what we're going to talk about today is helping you become a badass on any lead source that you call, because you know what? I think we get in our heads a little bit more than we need to. Would you agree with that, Jasmine? We get freaked out. Oh my gosh, there's a final expense. Oh my gosh, this is life insurance. I only used to calling mortgage protection. Oh my gosh. And it's not that big of a deal, right? Because if the lead is a lead is a lead. And there's one thing that I put in my head, and what I did when I was in the field still is I actually wouldn't even list. I didn't want to know if it was an A lead, a bonus lead, a 4A, or sorry, a B4 or B3. I just put them all together. All my leads that I bought, I just put them in one bucket, and I treated them all equal, because I believe a lead is a lead. And if we're excited and we're there to help people, that's what's going to happen. right? But if we sit there and we kind of prejudge what we're doing or get psyched out, like this business is 90% mental and 10% skill. Okay, 10%. Would you agree with that, Jasmine?
Yeah, I mean, we just the other week we had a one of our agent posts on our cruise on our string. She thought she was dialing B1 leads, you know, booking one appointment after the other, and then afterwards she realized it was B3s. Like, I mean, it was just mental. She was.
How many did she get in one sitting or something? It was like 7, I think.
6 or 7 actually. It was a big amount, and she thought, oh, I have the metrics of B1s, but it turned out it was B3s. It was only because she was excited about calling these people.
So here's one thing I want everyone to put in your notes, okay? Our number one job when we're calling any lead is to make sure when these people die that the family is going to be okay. All right? That's our number one job, isn't it? Is to make sure that when the person that you're talking to on the phone, if when they die, the family will be okay. And then we always say you want to leave people better than we found them. Jasmine, I remember when I was brand new, and I remember I sucked on the phone, right? And I talked to this lady, and she told me that she had a life insurance policy or mortgage protection to cover her mortgage for $250,000. She was older, her husband had cancer, and she said it was like $30 a month.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, are you sure that it's not accidental death? No, it's not, right? I went over to her house. I went through everything with her, and I said, listen, if that's really a policy that pays out no matter what, I need to go ahead and get contracted with that carrier. And it turned out that it was an accidental death policy, right? This ended up being my very first death claim. And what ended up happening was this lady at least had that graded death benefit, that money sent back. But could you imagine if she sat there and she thought that she was getting $250,000 and he died a couple months later and that she didn't get anything? But because I cared, I took that time to dig in and not just have her say, I don't need it and let her go, right? I think this is the thing that's so important, guys. Every single time you call someone, it's a family. Let's ask you this. What percentage of people that we call are going to die in the future?
Everybody.
Right? Okay, let's bundle on top of that. How many people have debt right now? Right? How many people take prescriptions? Like, how many people, like, the thing is that every single person that we call, this is somebody that we can help. So I want us to stretch our mind bigger than what lead is it and think about how can I help every single person that picks up the phone? Right? Because Jasmine, when we were calling multiple lead sources, and we still do today, I'm just going to focus on life insurance, final expense, mortgage protection. Yeah. What's the big difference between calling those lead sources? What would you say if you had to pick a couple things?
Maybe the intro. That's a big difference. Is just the way how you introduce yourself, of where the lead was coming from when you tell your purpose, why you're calling. And maybe just a little bit of a tweak in the presentation where you're proposing the solution of the problem different, you know, because every policy has a job: mortgage protection, life insurance, final expense. But I would say those are the two differences. You know, the phone script is a little bit different.
So it's basically, you're going to use the same script, right? But the intro is going to be different. Just like when we were calling these people from the reptile show, it would be the same script. We'd be like, hey, I met you at this reptile show, and go into the exact same script, right? There might be 1 or 2 qualification questions that might be different, right? For example, like, if you're calling final expense, maybe you say, so would you like to be buried, or are you going to do a cremation when you pass away? Maybe that, you know, Dave Albero mentioned that on the call last week. It was awesome, right? But it's the same client presentation almost exactly. But when you're presenting the dues, you're going to present them in either final expense might be $10,000, $5,000, $15,000 of coverage. Life insurance, you might be like $100,000 or $200,000, but everything's the same pretty much. You still dig into the why. You still find out what's going to happen with the house, the kids, etc. Because when I was brand new, I actually got involved in like an outside lead program. It was life insurance, and they texted me a lead, and like 30 other agents got it at the same time. You just had to beat them to the punch. And I'm like, okay, right? And what ended up happening is what a lot of those leads, they'd say, well, I want to actually use this to protect my mortgage. I'm like, oh, so it's mortgage protection. Well, I want to go ahead and I want to cover my burial expenses. Oh, you want final expense. So all we're doing is we're putting like a label on the type of coverage that they want.
Exactly. It's not what the policy is, it's what it does. And I always say it's almost like a pair of shoes. You wear sneakers to the gym, you wear nice fancy shoes when you go out, and you wear flip-flops when you go to the beach. So every policy has a purpose for what the solution is for the client.
All right, so if I look at the best script right in here,
yes,
we've got right here. So it says, I was calling you back about the request you made for final expense, right? You wanted to make sure that when you passed away that your family had money for those expenses. So I just need to verify some of the information you provided so we can get these options out to you. Right? That's it. Right? So this it's not rocket science, but this is one of the things that our objective of this call was just to like let everyone know that it's okay, right? You're doing the exact same thing. All we're doing perhaps is changing that intro. But that intro is really important, right, Jasmine? Because how long do we really have for people to decide if they want to work with us when we call them?
Only 3 seconds. 3 seconds for them to make a choice whether they want to talk to us or not.
So those of you playing along at home, okay, I'm going to read out this script and I want you to put in the chat where the 3 seconds is, okay? So, hi there, my name's Miranda Martin and I'm calling about your mortgage in the amount of $250,000 over at 12345 Street. Where's the 3 seconds in that call?
In the first sentence, hello, my name is Miranda Martin.
Yes, I've like said hello, right? And maybe my name. So what's important for us to be doing at the start of these phone calls?
Well, if I pick up the phone and somebody sounds like a debt collector, I'm definitely not going to talk to them. So if somebody is energetic, friendly, and likable, that's when I decide, okay, you're worth my time listening to you.
So we're going to stretch everyone's minds for a second, Jasmine, okay?
Right.
Because we only have a few minutes, but here's the thing. I want you guys to take away the name of the person on the lead for a moment, okay? Because imagine for a moment that you're calling somebody and it's not even the person that you're supposed to be calling. Do you think there's a chance you could book that person? Jasmine, that happened to you like recently, didn't it?
Yeah. Recently, I called a normal mortgage protection lead. Her name was, let's call her Linda Smith. And a guy picked up the phone. You know, of course, we're trained to make sure that we don't say, is Miss Linda Smith there? We just say, Mr. Smith, please. And he said, how can I help you? He didn't even confirm who he was, but I just went on. So I went with my script. It was like, you reached out to us for mortgage protection. I'm your assigned broker. Who would be the beneficiary if you would pass away? And that's when I found out that I had the son on the phone, that the mother was on the mortgage, and that his fiance was about to move in. If I would have not pushed through and he listened to me, I would have not been able to book the appointment. I sat with all 3 people and wrote a final expense on the mom and 2 mortgage protection life insurance terms on the couple. If I would have just said, ooh, sorry, wrong number, wrong person, I would have not helped that family.
So Jasmine and I were like going back in the archives, right? Like thinking about all this fun stuff that we used to do. So Jasmine, when we had a game, right? It was called the NI turnaround game, right? So this is like, our goal was to try to turn people around that weren't interested, right? Like, so I always have been a fan of pushing at least 2 times when people say they're not interested. And then you want to take it away. But here's the thing, on that 3rd try, you don't want to go ahead and try to convince them to still book with you. You want to take it away. Something along the lines of, Jasmine, listen, if you're driving in a car tonight and you get in an accident and you die and you don't come home tomorrow, is your family going to be okay?
No.
Right? And if that doesn't turn her around, then I'm not going to continue wasting my time on that. But if we don't push at least 3 times, we're not trying hard enough. Okay, this is where like we go from good to great on the phones. This is where we really start to maximize our leads. And the other one that we used to do was the wrong number. The wrong number. So that's kind of what Jasmine just did. So when it was the wrong number, tell us about that game, Jazzy, because I know that was something that you really
Similar, you know, wrong number. You were just in, oh, I'm sure I can help you too. What I'm calling will be of interest for you too, because keep in mind, everybody's going to die anyways, right? Everybody has debt. Everybody needs to get final expense eventually. But generating that interest, we can generate that interest, of course, with our approach, with our professionalism, being likable, and then just push through and make sure that we book and get in front of those families and help them.
Yeah. So that was something that I challenge you guys to have fun with this. That's another thing. If we're not having fun, right? I remember driving in my car one time. I was driving from Fort Myers to Tampa for like a fall tour. I'm sitting in my car. I have 20 A leads, like paper mortgage protection A leads, and I got probably 15 no's in a row. Was it the leads or was it me? I wasn't in my optimal environment. Probably didn't get myself ready to dial. I got no. As soon as I got my head in the game and I got in where I should have probably been dialing my leads, everything kind of switched around. I wasn't having fun. I wasn't smiling at the start of my phone calls, right? I wasn't going to help people. I was worrying about my numbers instead of helping that family. Yeah. Right? So that's really the biggest thing is our job is to make sure when these people die that the family is okay. Right? This is the other thing that put in your notes is we're not calling to book we're not calling to see if these guys are interested. Right? They've sent in a lead. Okay. I know we're playing around talking about not interested and wrong numbers and stuff, but legitimately these guys sent in a lead request. You are calling to book an appointment, not calling to see if they're interested. And sometimes when people aren't booking a lot of appointments, if you were to listen to a recording, it doesn't sound like you think that they should be interested. It's almost like trying on an outfit in the store, and you ladies may agree, like understand this more, but like you walk out of the change room, right? And you look all around and the salesperson goes, yeah, that looks good on you. Or a friend of yours goes, yeah, that looks good. Or they go, oh my gosh, that looks great, right? Like that conviction is so important. Right? If we go into every single appointment saying, I'm here to book an appointment, not calling to see if they're interested, it just changes everything.
And we have the chance when we have an adult person on the phone to generate that interest and book the appointment, just that. And the rest, everything will fall in place afterwards when you get in front of them. That's where the relationship building and everything happens. Your job is to book the appointment.
So let's talk about getting people on the phone, Jasmine, because I know we're talking about when we get a live person, an adult, right? I know when an adult answers, you want to talk to that person. So it might say like John Smith, but if Mary answers like a lady, we're going to talk to her and say, okay, Miss Smith. Don't say, hi, can you get John on the phone, right? Like we talked about that. You want to talk to the adult person that you have on the phone.
I'm telling you, anybody who picks up my phone is a VIP in my household. Okay, it's not my neighbor. It's not somebody strange. It's somebody who probably lives in the same household as me. If they pick up my phone, they are important. That means that you are talking to the right person.
Yep. And you are an interest generator. I know I hear sometimes people saying we're just looking for interested people. I'm here to tell you, you're an interest generator. You're excited. You do this stuff. You are going to book some people. It's not going to be everyone, but it's almost like a game, isn't it, Jasmine? This whole thing, right? But let's talk about a few tips for the last couple minutes on how to get people to pick up. Because we need people to answer the phone or we can't do any of the stuff that we're talking about. So what are some tips?
When I have new agents, I see a pattern. Oh, nobody's picking up. Oh, nobody, excuse. And I'm like, okay, when are you dialing them? Oh, I bought the leads 4 days ago. 4 days ago? You have to dial them right when you buy them. They age almost like a car that gets off the lot. And then she said, oh yeah, my dial times are always in the morning, 9 to 12. All right, what about the people that are at work? Are you going to call them in the evening? When are you planning your 5 passes? Mornings, afternoons, and evening?
So let's pause on that. So one thing that's super important is calling these guys 5 times in that first hello.
In 72 hours, yep. So you can accommodate the working people the people that are stay at home, or the seniors that are busy throughout the day that are home in the morning, right? We have to give them a chance to pick up. They can't pick up if we call them when they're not available. So 5 times, different dial times within 72 hours, you call them right when you buy them. And another important thing is triple dialing. If I'm busy doing something in the garden and somebody only calls me 1 time, I'm not going to call them back, most likely not. But if we are persistent and we call triple dialing, I know it's important and I have to pick up. Right.
One thing too, and we were playing around with this on our Zoom party, check your state, like how early businesses can call, because in all the ones I looked up, you can start calling at 8 o'clock in the morning. So don't take my word for it, go do your research. But if you can start dialing at 8 o'clock, how many people are you going to reach before you start calling it when people go to work at 9?
Yeah.
Right. So many people we see in our master booking 5 appointments in 2 hours, just starting early in the morning. Right. If you can bang out 5 appointments, but you're right, Jasmine, don't just call in the mornings, call them 5 times, hopefully within 72 hours. Right. And then change those phone numbers around. But
first 5 passes, switch your caller ID is super important. Yeah. Definitely.
But yeah, these are all this little tips, guys. But that's it. So what is our role? All right, let's go back to the beginning. Our number 1 job is to make sure when these people die, when you buy the lead and you are contractually agreeing that you're going to do everything you can to make sure when these people die that they're going to be okay. And I would love to see people having some success with this NI turnaround and like wrong number thing just for fun, because it makes it fun. I love all this kind of stuff. But I want everyone to be so excited about calling these other lead sources, because it's basically the exact same thing. The one thing that sometimes changes is our mindset a little bit, and it's okay, right? And Jasmine,
why not triple your odds of making more money? Hello, we have access to more leads now, guys. Would be silly not to try it. Definitely. Trying is on our vocabulary. We're doing it, not trying.
So that's what we've got. Have fun, smile at the start of your phone call, and you are calling to book an appointment. You are not calling to see if they are interested. And remember that growth happens outside of your comfort zone. If you focus on the results, you'll never change. But if you focus on the change, you're going to get the results.
I feel like you're about to bust out a rap.
Am I?
And thank you so much, Jasmine. So great to see you on this platform, and so well deserved. And Miranda, just advisory board member and somebody that cares so deeply for the company and gives so willingly of her time and effort. No doubt why she is a best-selling author and one of the premier leaders of this company. And just appreciate you so much, Miranda, and all that you do. Phenomenal call. Thank you for the nuggets. Thank you for the energy. I'm ready to go run through a wall. That's what I needed. And appreciate everybody. And we'll see you again next week.